Hi, I'm Titya. This is Vertic, where we dig up interesting past behind some everyday words we use. In today's episode, we are diving into words from war. Wars have always left its mark on history, but it has also left its mark on our language. Like some of the words and phrases that we use actually come straight out of the battlefield. And we use them very casually without realizing the horrors they carry. So let's look at a few of them. The first word is deadline.
Yeah, I got a deadline too.
For us, deadline is that time, that dreaded time an assignment, project, or a payment is due. But originally, it was way more literal and it was actually deadly. So, during the American Civil War, military prisons had a line marked inside the camp. Any prisoner who crossed it, the guards had orders to shoot them on sight. For instance, at the most infamous Andersonville prison, there were 45,000 prisoners crammed in, and the conditions were so poor, were very poor, it lacked the basic construction of a dedicated prison. It was a makeshift prison. It only had a wooden stack of fence to keep the prisoners in. And that was not enough to stop a healthy, determined prisoner from climbing it. They could easily do it without getting noticed by the guards. So, to give the guards more time to react, they placed a line of wooden planks inside 20 feet from the outer walls. And orders were given to the guards that any man who crosses it even by a hair, they could shoot them on sight without any warning. And after the war was over, the meaning kind of softened. By the 1920s, US media started using it for the latest time to submit a story or a report. And from there, it spread everywhere.
You can't afford to miss another deadline.
So yeah, missing a deadline today may cost you some marks or money, but back then, it actually costed your life. And the way it was enforced was pretty over the top, right? Which brings us to the next phrase. When we say something is over the top, today we mean it's exaggerated or it's too much. But during World War I, this was a command soldiers feared and dreaded so much. The soldiers would spend months in muddy trenches, and when the whistles blow to climb over the top, they had to charge on the open ground straight into the enemy machine guns. For some, it was like a death sentence. After the war, the phrase stuck around, but it kind of lost its deadly edge. People started using it around 1930s. People started using it to describe anything that's excessive, like a flashy outfit or someone just doing way too much. And the open ground of the battlefield brings us to the next word, campaign.
I don't think I could handle another presidential campaign.
When we hear about campaigns, we think of election campaigns or ad campaigns. But originally, campaign meant a season of military operations. It comes from the French word campagne, which means an open field, and this word again has roots from the Latin word campania, which again means an open field or an open country where battles were actually fought. And to go on a campaign literally meant to head into the battlefield. And over time, battlefields slowly shifted, and politics, businesses, and marketing took the stage, and they all borrowed this word. And in a way, it makes sense because they all are in their own kinds of a war. Coke versus Pepsi, that calls for a campaign. And companies or political parties put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, pouring in a lot of money and material as well to make campaigns successful. And sometimes, like in real war, they win. But sometimes the cost of winning is so high that it will barely feel like a victory. Which brings us to the next phrase.
I guess that's another Pyrrhic victory.
Now, this one goes way back around 280 BC, where the Greek king Pyrrhus of Epirus fought the Romans. And he actually won. But his army took such huge losses that he's supposed to have said, another victory like this and we are ruined. So this is exactly what it means. A win that comes at a huge cost that it almost feels like a loss. For example, in the modern day, you pull an all-nighter and complete an assignment, but with zero sleep, running on 5 cups of coffee, you feel like your soul is leaving your body. But it's technically a win, but at what cost? So these are some of the words that we casually toss around, but actually born out of war, struggles, and sacrifices. And the wars may have ended, but some of its scars continue to live on, etched into our language.